It's been theorized, Ambassador, this is a good week to be the Kremlin because you have Brexit collapsing. You have American on American. Our own government is in paralysis. And the report the president has discussed pulling us from NATO. On that, I want to show you this. Should he decide or try to do that, it is very clear he's already getting air support to give him optionality from Fox News.
Vladimir Putin runs Russia now. He does not plan to invade Western Europe. He can't. So why do we still have NATO? Well, nobody really knows. Remaining in NATO comes with significant obligations. In the 1990s, our leaders decided it would be a wise idea to promise countries like Latvia and Estonia that we would use nuclear weapons to protect them if they ever had a problem with Russia. Why did we do that? Well, who knows? The details are lost to history. But
Ambassador, start wherever you wish there.
First, I'm going to send Tucker a copy of my book. Second, I'm going to remind him that it was George W. Bush, Republican President George W. Bush, that expanded NATO to those countries. And the argument was very simple. We want to see peace and security and prosperity in Europe free and whole. And we have benefited tremendously from that peace. People are forgetting the peace is the absence of war. We know what Europe looks like without NATO. And secondly, I just have to say, very concretely, some of those countries, Estonia, for instance, lives have been lost. Estonians have died fighting next to American soldiers. And they died not because they were attacked. They died because we were attacked on September 11th. And so for him just to flippantly say, well, why do we have it? Just remember our history and remember who our allies are. We are better off. This is not a partisan statement. We, as America, are better off with allies than going it alone. History has proven that. Let's keep to that strategy.
Because we haven't heard from you, this is a tall order, but give me the 45-second version of what our viewers should worry about when they read reports that the president was after the notes of his conversations with Putin.
It makes no sense to me. I worked for President Obama. I was oftentimes the note taker in those meetings, and you need those notes to tell everybody in the government what the policy is. And the fact that the president continues to hide what he says to Putin suggests that that disconnect between Trump and the Trump administration on Russia is real. And I'm worried about what has been promised in those one-on-one meetings.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.